My name is Father Ross Jones. My link is that I've known the Nelson clan for many decades now, and Isabel's link is that this is the chapel where she went to school and is a very special place in her life, and indeed it will become a special place in Edwin's life to come. And here we are. Since those early days together, Edwin's and Isabel's relationship has grown, I'm sure, and been tested. But one thing is sure, they really are such good friends, and you will all attest to that. This afternoon they're each marrying their best friend, and that realization is so important. And I say this at every wedding because I believe it very strongly. In marriage, your partner must be your best friend as well as your only lover. Marriage is not an event, it's a process. You don't get married, you become married. And tomorrow these two will be more married than they are this afternoon, and even more so next week, and next year on their anniversary. They will both grow into this sacrament daily. Edwin, when you turn to Isabel and you discover that she's loving and kind and compassionate and faithful and forgiving, you meet the loving God who we know as loving and kind and compassionate and faithful and forgiving. And Isabel, the same will be true when you find those qualities in Edwin. Edwin and Isabel, the promise you make to each other today is serious because it will bind you together for life in a relationship so close and so intimate that it will profoundly influence your whole future. You know that these elements are mingled in every life and are to be expected in your own. And so, not knowing what is before you, but trusting in God's companionship, you take each other through the best and the worst of what lies ahead, so long as you both shall live. And so, in the presence of the Church, I ask you to state your intentions. Edwin and Isabel, have you come here freely and without reservation to give yourselves to each other in marriage?
We have.
And will you love and honor each other as husband and wife for the rest of your lives?
We will.
And will you accept children lovingly from God and bring them up according to the law of Christ and His Church?
We will.
Since it is your intention to enter into marriage, I invite you to join your right hands and declare your consent before God and the Church.
I, Edwin, take you, Isabel, to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part.
I, Isabel, take you, Edwin, to be my lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death do us part.
You have declared your consent before the Church. May the Lord in His goodness strengthen your consent and fill you both with God's blessings. What God has joined, we must not divide. Amen.
Please take this ring as a sign of my love and fidelity. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Edwin, I take this ring as a sign of my love and fidelity. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Let's congratulate them.
everyone for coming. We really appreciate it. Sorry for taking so long. Yeah, it's amazing that you're all here. You're all our nearest and dearest, or at least those who are prepared to brave COVID. So.
And particularly to Isabel's family, and that's Lockhart, her mum and her sister Kansas, and unfortunately her dad and brother David were a bit exposed to positive people, and Natalie couldn't make it either. But anyway, welcome you very much to the family, Isabel, and you've probably seen a fair bit of them, they're everywhere. And I also should mention that, as you probably know, my husband passed away about 5 years ago, and he would have been very proud indeed to be here for this very special day for Edwin and Isabel. And he missed not only Edwin's admission as a lawyer, where he's the only one of all the 12 children to actually be carry on the tradition of the 4th generation of lawyers, but also this opportunity to meeting Isabel. He would have loved to have met you, Isabel. When he puts his mind to it, his ability to focus and follow through, I think is exceptional. He's still at heart a knight of dreams which, through determination and hard work, can sometimes actually become reality. Together you may even be able to realise something. I also, just on behalf of all of our family, I want to wish you, Isabel, and Philip to the very best for your exciting and classically romantic future together, and welcome the others into the family.
And now we're going to hear from Edwin's lovely sister, Felicity.
So now that Edwin and Isabel have made lifelong vows, there's no harm in being quite honest. Edwin is a real-life troll. He has a reputation far and wide for purposefully antagonising people both online and in real life for his own entertainment. He's so practised at this that it's become something of an art form. Pretty much everyone I know has been drawn into a 3-day fight with Edwin on a political Facebook thread. He's even received media attention for his provocative Facebook posts. Let's just say you can Google BuzzFeed and Edwin Nelson.
That's very uplifting.
At times, I've thought about changing my pen name and journalist just so no one realises that we're related. Edwin courts controversy at family functions and long car rides. He will talk about sex, politics, and religion, and nothing else. When driving to Bundanoon one Christmas, we had a 2-hour argument exclusively about climate change, and we actually found some common ground. Edwin is analytical to the point of exhaustion and applies his intelligence to finding the thing that will most intrigue, inflame, and shock people. But by some miracle, Edwin has not completely alienated everyone in his life. Edwin is persistent and dedicated to the things that he cares about. He spent what seemed like years campaigning to rewrite the Liberal Party constitution to make it more democratic. He's dedicated himself to the lead role of the university play, Hannah and Martin. When called upon to attend a costume party, he almost got arrested for carrying a sword on campus. He was so into campus politics that he didn't leave university for something like 10 years, and we're all quite surprised that he finished his law degree and became a practicing lawyer. I've never seen Edwin capable of being sincere or respectful about anything much, but what is so wonderful is that he is that way about Isabel. I can see that sweetness coming through again, and it warms my heart. I wish you both all the happiness in the world.
Thanks, Felicity. How are you feeling there, Edwin? Thoroughly roasted? Or... And so now we're going to give Edwin a bit of a break, and Philip can tell us a bit more about Isabel.
I
I was Isabel's mum until she was 12 and now find myself stepping back into that role in her 26th year. She has since blossomed into a true beauty, both inside and out, with a love of Regency romance. I'm so happy that Isabel has found her Mr. Darcy, as her father calls Edwin. Congratulations, Isabel and Edwin, and all the best for a wonderful life together.
My name's Damien Pace. I met Edwin Nelson during a time at university. One of the downsides of having two best men and no bridesmaids is you've got to hear speech after speech about Edwin, but we'll do our best and see how we go. Edwin is refreshingly honest, open and transparent in a world of deceit. On the downside, Edwin is appallingly open and transparent. It makes you ill. Has anyone here heard Edwin say, "Ask me any question and I'll tell you the truth"? Yes. It's terrible. I hope it is the maturing phase for you, Edwin. And good luck to you, Isabel. I'd like to remind Edwin that most of the romantic poets died young, went insane. There are other ways to live, ones which are also involving freedom, individualization, and responsibility to society. This is called the Christian moral life. Tolkien did it. C.S. Lewis did it. Edwin Nelson, you can do it too. Good luck to you, Edwin and Isabel. All the best.
And now for our next speaker, a well-respected man, a wonderful friend of Edwin and his family, loved and adored by all. Me. Now, as Felicity has highlighted, we all know Edwin can be fairly conservative with his views. However, he is a fantastic person and a wonderful friend, and he has an incredible sense of humour, and I think we've heard this now a few times from various people. Damien's just highlighted it. I want to give you a little excerpt which might illustrate that a little bit. One time Edwin and I were at the Governor Hotel at Macquarie Park. The waitress was sort of saying, "Oh, I'm feeling a bit unwell," and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, I hope you get better." Edwin's response was, "I don't. I hope you get worse." Just to give you a sense of his wicked sense of humour, and I was like, don't pay any attention to him. So Edwin will do anything to create a bit of a rise, a bit of a stir, shake people up a bit, make them feel a bit uncomfortable. Whatever he can do to make you feel uncomfortable, he will do it just to get a kick. So that's his sense of humour, and it's absolutely hilarious. But Edwin has many great qualities. He's a fantastic friend, loyal, supportive, generous, caring, funny, intellectual. He's a master of strategy, and I know it's a bit uncool, but let's face it, he's a master of strategy, whether it be chess, croquet, Age of Empires, all these very socially acceptable and cool activities, right? Although they may be a little bit nerdy, they're a lot of fun, and Edwin is a master of strategy, and it comes out time and time again. Could be work, politics, or life in general. Edwin is a hero who, back at high school, as Anne told us, heroically led the Aloes chess team to an enormous crowd of Aloes supporters who were all chanting and blasting out "Eye of the Tiger." He also displayed courage and heroism when he helped me row my dinghy all the way back from Neutral Bay to Sirius Cove. Along the way, we nearly capsized the dinghy. We sort of made it just to Cremorne Point Wharf, bailed the thing out at the last minute, much to the sort of amusement of people watching on. And Isabel is a lovely lady. She's very friendly, easy to get on with, and indeed a good cook, which explains why Edwin is starting to put on weight, which is great to see. Now, life is short, so remember to value every moment you have with each other. Remember to satisfy each other's love languages. Remember to live well, laugh often, and love much. Edwin and Isabel, congratulations, and I wish you a wonderful future together. Now let's all raise a glass and toast to the newlyweds. To Edwin and Isabel. And now, to hear from the man himself, Edwin Nelson.
Well, I think the first thing anybody should do when they stand up here is to thank everyone for coming. Thank you to all the speakers for your kind words and your not so kind words, and for your honesty, sometimes brutal honesty. Thank you to everyone for being here. I know that with COVID, we originally planned to have 60 guests, and then in the last few weeks I think I had 22 of them who pulled out. And for those who stuck through it despite all the rules, it's very kind of you to come and risk your life and limb by celebrating this day with us. And for those who received last-minute invitations, thank you again for coming with last-minute invitations. Your spontaneity and everything is very much appreciated. I'm very much reminded of there's a thing in the Bible about wedding guests. They prepare a big feast and invite all these people, and not everybody comes, and they go out there and pick randoms up off the street and have a great time. So perhaps that's slightly relevant.
Thanks, mate.
That's right. Thank you as well to everyone who contributed to the GoFundMe. I think we've raised a little bit over $9,000 so far, which is just amazing. A lot more than anything I could have possibly anticipated. And we'll do our best to make you proud and send you heaps of videos, and maybe even might save a little bit, who knows. It's incredibly touching for all of you all to have so many people who care. And thank you for those as well who weren't able to make it. I want to talk to you about why I love Isabel. Because let's face it, that's really the main reason. There are lots of reasons why I love Isabel. The first thing that I love is the fact that she loves me. Or at least she tells me she does. I love that she's pretty and kind. I love that she's intelligent, conscientious. She's a Christian, she's got good morals. I love that she makes me happy, and she comforts me when I'm in grief and in pain. I love that she's quirky and she's fun. I love the fact that she was ready to marry me after only a few short months of dating. There aren't many people who would have been up for that sort of wild adventure. And the fact that she was, gives me that romantic partner that I really look for. Isabel and I only started dating in April, believe it or not. And when we did, I was rebounding somewhat terribly from a relationship that had been going on off again and on again for 6 years. I was a broken and angry man. But the last relationship ended badly, and Isabel helped to heal all of that grief and pain. And you've heard it said beforehand, she's good for me. Isabel makes me strong, which I need to be. She challenges me to be better. I sleep better with her. I get to bed at 9 p.m. in the evening. It's amazing. I eat better. Every night when I come home, she gets home an hour early, and she starts work an hour before me as well. And then I come home and almost without fail, there's a hot cooked meal that she's made from scratch waiting for me. And it's lovely, absolutely utterly wonderful. And I have been putting on a lot of weight as well, so that's also a good thing. But she's a force for good for my life, and she's also my best friend. There are a lot of people who are convinced that we were getting married too soon. We'd only been started dating in April, and after 6 months, I popped the question. What you don't actually know is that she actually went off and bought the wedding dress in June. So she had her sights set on me right from the very start. And while some people might think that this is a foolish thing to do, I really disagree. A lot of people in society are too afraid of marriage. They're afraid of commitment. They want somebody who's absolutely and utterly perfect. They're so caught on that senses of fear, and time causes them to walk by. And as a result, they miss out on a lot. They miss out on the power of team. And the power of team makes your strength stronger, and they give you the power to fix your weaknesses. And it's not complicated. It's really simple. If you love someone, then you should marry them. It's as simple as that. I fell in love with Isabel, and Isabel fell in love with me. So of course we were going to get married. So that's why we got married so soon. In the words of St. Paul, as they say, it's far better to marry than to burn with passion. Love is important. The act of love binds you to somebody. It's deep, it's emotional, it's spiritual. You pour a little bit of your soul into that person, and they pour a little bit of their soul into you. And very soon you really stop being two people, you really start being one person. And a lot of the Bible readings that we picked were about that. Two people very much becoming one. And it's something that's beautiful and it's magical. Love is powerful stuff. And more than that, love belongs in a marriage. And if you don't use it correctly and you bind yourself to the wrong thing, then you end up doing terrible damage to yourself, and you end up doing terrible damage to other people. This is a lesson that I learned the hard way. Believe it or not, I've actually asked a total of 5 girls to marry me. I can tell you consolation, the first one was when I was 7. And she was a girl called Rosalie, and she was 30 years my senior. And she was also actually already married too. But Isabel's the one that said yes properly. That's always a good sign. And more than that, I think out of all the girls I could have ended up with, she's definitely the best. And my friends certainly tell that to me. I remember lots of conversations with them saying, Edwin, don't fuck this up. We have our problems. We have our arguments. We argue whether it's acceptable for our kids to be monks or nuns or not, or whether what we feel about homeschooling or home births, or whether the moon landing is real, or our attitude to vaccines. But and believe it or not, Isabel even tried to dump me on the 3rd date when we were out together. We were off in the botanical gardens, and she turned to me and looked at me and said that I was too Ned Flanders and too nice. And there are other times when she thought that I wasn't right wing enough for her. Too forgiving and turning the other cheek. But I think forgiveness is incredibly important in a marriage, and it's one of the reasons why you do end up with such a high rate of divorce. I think it's 60% of marriages end up in divorce. But marriage is not what you have; it's what you make it. It's like a home. It's not what you buy. It's all the things and the memories that you make afterwards. It's the start of everything that ends up happening. If you have the attitude of forgiveness, and if you can accept your partner's faults and take the attitude that there's not such a thing as yours or mine in the relationship, that there's only ours, if you're prepared to turn the other cheek, then these are the things that I think will cause a marriage to last. And it's one of the reasons why I hope that my marriage with Isabel will last. I certainly never intend to leave Isabel. And if I have it my way, Isabel will be the last woman I'm ever with. Despite all my sins and mistakes and idiocies, all that I am and all that I have is yours. And I won't promise to never lie to you, because I don't believe in making promises that you can't keep. And truth be told, I'd rather see you happy. But I do promise to always protect you. I promise to be always there for you. I promise to never leave you no matter what. And the vow that I made today, I made it in front of our friends, our family, and before God. And it's something I tend to keep. So thank you, darling. I love you, and I hope this is forever after.
That was wonderful. Thanks, Edwin. And lucky last, We're going to have a few words of thank you and hear from Isabel.
Hi everyone, this is a very, very short little speech. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for coming. It means so much that you've all been here and you've all contributed and you've all just been here for us. It's really quite incredible. And a lot of people have sort of maybe remarked that it's a bit weird that a lot of my family hasn't shown up. And it's not because they dislike Edwin, they really do like him. They do, they genuinely do like him. But for various reasons they couldn't be here. So I'm just going to read out a quick message from my father. Just to know, because he wishes he could be here, but unfortunately he can't. So my father has said this: Dear Isabel and Edwin, congratulations, and with regret I won't be able to attend. Please accept my apology. I'm very happy for the both of you and wish you the very best in a bright future. I can't wait to have Edwin as my son-in-law. Thank you all.
So that's the end of all the speeches, but don't go too far. We're going to cut the cake soon, throw the bouquet and so forth, so there's more to come. But do help yourself to food and drink, and very soon we'll cut the cake and continue to enjoy the evening. Thanks so much everyone, and enjoy the rest of the evening.